Yeah, for me, I'm from Jersey. I live in New Jersey, so they still haven't opened up anything yet, except for the parks. Yeah, so I've been still staying active with my workouts and busy with the podcast. Obviously, I'm rolling through the interviews. You're my 5th interview of today, actually.
That's awesome. One of my best friends, his name's Matt Gaeta. He owns Gaeta Sports Management. It's based in New York. He does baseball, so he's an agent for baseball players. And sorry, my dog. So he's been stuck at home trying to figure out how to get all of his players paid and all that kind of stuff. So it's been really interesting from his perspective, being stuck in Jersey and New York City, trying to maneuver his business.
Oh, I would like to get him on the show one day if it's possible. Yeah.
Hit him up. He's Gaeta Sports Management, so I think it's GSM it's GSM is what he goes by. But he's got some really good players, some new up and comers. One is, he's got 2 that kind of make the news a lot. One's Randy Dobenak, Mr. 4.9, and the Uber baseball player.
Oh,
that's Randy. That's in Gaeta, or Matt Gaeta is his agent, and then Nick Anderson, who's considered one of the best relievers in the MLB right now.
Yeah, from the Tampa Bay Rays.
Yes, sir.
Right? Yeah. So, for all the viewers who just joined, can you explain your background a little bit and when you got interested in the sports business?
I played soccer growing up. So I played competitively until I was 21. I played in college, and I played a little bit of semi-professional soccer as well. And I was at TCU trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life, and pre-med wasn't really working like I thought I was going to. So I decided that I would try to figure out what was next, and I kind of just fell into sports broadcasting. Mm-hmm. Hi, Lawrence. I fell into sports broadcasting. I just kind of fell in love with it. I interned at my local CBS station. I actually got to intern there for the rest of my college career. I went to Fox Sports Southwest as well. And then they let me stay on as like a correspondent. So I started color commentating soccer. That was my first kind of big break into sports media. It was awesome. I got to commentate TCU women's soccer for a whole season. And then I moved into my first job out of college was at KATC. Oh gosh, it's been a long time. My first job out of college was at KATC. I was a general news reporter. So for anybody starting in the business, sometimes you have to do things that you don't want to do. I lasted there for 6 months, and then I kind of got my big break working for the American Sports Network, which is now called Stadium. They partnered with Silver Chalice and are now what Stadium is, which is Silver Chalice is also, I don't know if they're still around, but it was 120 Sports back when I first started. So they moved onto Stadium. I've worked for soccer teams. I've worked for baseball teams. I've sideline reported all kinds of stuff, mostly professional, semi-professional sport, professional minor league sports. I really have enjoyed it. It's taken me on a wild ride. I now work for a company where I am their director of digital media, or digital content. So I am the face of the digital realm that we have, but I also produce all of the content that we have that goes out for our social media platforms, which I have kind of found my niche in the digital realm. I love it. I get to have a lot more fun and be the personality, the big personality that I am. And kind of get to have fun with players and not feel like I need to put on this front for everyone. That I feel like we all kind of are told that we have to put on. But so I do that. And then I also freelance. I work with Fox Sports Southwest, or I work with ESPN, not Fox Sports Southwest anymore. I used to work with Fox Sports Southwest, still color commentating women's soccer, but I mostly work with ESPN as well during bowl season. I do digital content for them with my partner in crime, Jared Christopher, who is a phenomenal producer and film or videographer. And then the guys that I work with now are great. I kind of work in a big boys club. It's funny. It's me and 6 men all the time. It's super interesting and super fun, but I love it. And it's been a fun ride. It's perfect for me. Never kind of been a conventional person when it came to growing up or doing things a certain way. And definitely my sports broadcasting career has taken that same path.
Yeah, so the way I found you was I just followed you like recently. I don't know when, but I found you because I also interviewed Sandy Charles, Taylor McGregor. I interviewed those women on they came on my podcast recently. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, and that's how I found you. And I said she has some great content. Let me bring her on, and she can explain her story. And I love bringing on people where they have inspiring stories and they work hard and everything. So I like to mix it up a little bit for my podcast. So, but that's how I found you, because Sandy Charles, Taylor McGregor, I interviewed them. They're amazing. And so let me ask you.
It's a good friend of mine. I love her to death.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. So would you say that those two, would you say Taylor McGregor, Sandy Charles, like Meredith Marakovich, were they your role models going into the sports business? Like,
no, not really. So honestly, Taylor McGregor is a little bit newer on the scene. I'm a little bit older, not older than she is, but like when she made her break, I've already been in the business.
Oh, okay.
Granted, I admire those women so much. Sandy Charles, Taylor McGregor, the Jenny Carver, those women. The women that are in it every single day, they had the job that you wanted growing up. Like, I wanted to be a baseball sideline reporter, and to see women that are getting that break, I appreciate that so much. But my role models are women like Amanda Mazey, who works for WVU. She used to be at TCU. Her husband is a coach. He's the head coach for the WVU baseball team. She was one of my mentors. Emily Jones is a mentor of mine. She has been amazing to me over the years, over the last decade. I've been in this business for a decade now. So, Emily Jones has been a big mentor for me, and always somebody who's had my back when I needed them. Gina Miller was another one. She's a DFW based reporter, producer, director, all kinds of things. She was the only woman to host a 30-minute show by herself in DFW when I first started. And she took me to her wing, and she's awesome as well. She's now the director of broadcasting for FC Dallas. Women like that, though, they just another woman, I can never pronounce her last name right. She works up in New York, but her name is Tina.
Tina Sabasio?
Yes, Tina was amazing to me when I started my career. I worked in Jacksonville. We went up for a game playing the. Sorry, apologize for that. We were playing the Comets, and I met Tina, and she was just so sweet to me, and has followed me ever since, and just has been really, really great. So it's women like that were really. Just really kind. Kaylee Hartung was another one. She now doesn't work in sports. She works in news, which was her original background. But women like that are the ones who took me under their wings and really just gave me the confidence and gave me the ability to know that being a woman is hard in this business, and that I can overcome anything. I mean, I had great men mentors too. Tom Dirk, a bunch of producers loved me. And I love them still to this day. One, Patrick Modorowski, he works at Fox Sports Southwest. He's been great to me over the years. So yeah, I've had a lot of really good people and a really good network and support system. And what's really cool, the women that you had originally asked about, it's so great to see when you can kind of surround yourself with good people in this business. And in this business in particular, what's nice is that the women always seem to support each other. Like, you might not know them from Adam. Like, I didn't know Sandy the first time I met Sandy. Like, I met Sandy randomly. Like, we'd followed each other on Instagram for years. And Sandy one day comes up, and we're at the same spring training meeting, or spring training. We're at the same spring training practice. Like, coincidence, but it was great. So it's really good to have that support system around you of just a good group of women who enjoy lifting each other up. Some other names that are really good in this business right now. Emily Walden is creating waves, especially in baseball. Carrie Steele has started has started her own food blog. This girl who had probably a more interesting path than any of us combined, has moved into food, and she's killing it. Melanie Newman's another one. She's one of the first. She's the first Orioles play-by-play. That's a woman.
Mm-hmm.
She took on. I worked in Frisco as a sideline reporter for a while, and she took it on after I left. So it's how you get connected with these women. That's really cool and a really great thing to see. Hold on just a second. I'm gonna grab a charger real fast.
Oh, okay.
Okay, sorry about that.
That's okay.
My battery's going a little low on me.
That's fine.
Turning though. I don't know how I'm gonna do this.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Right this second. Okay, yeah, but those women are great, and they've got awesome careers, and I'm just excited to getting to be on it.
Yeah, I think your screen is lagging a little bit. Hold on.
Oh
no. Let me see. Can you see me clearly?
I can see you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. You're good now. All right. Yeah. So. Yeah. Speaking of Tina Servatio, I'm trying to get her on the show at some point. So, yeah,
Tina is amazing. I literally have met her once ever, but she was one of the kindest human beings I've ever met. Mm-hmm. And she's phenomenal too. Like if anybody wants somebody to look up to in this business, Tina Servatio is a great woman to look up to because she literally does everything.
Yeah. So my next question here. So obviously you work at ESPN too, and I had the pleasure of interviewing some ESPN colleagues also on my show. But what's the experience like working on ESPN and working with those ESPN crew and all? So
what's interesting is I work with ESPN events. So I get employed through technically I get employed through ESPN, but we don't deal with anything TV wise. Granted, I've met some amazing people that work for their broadcast team. They're super great. But my partner and I get free reign to kind of do whatever we want and create content for people to watch online. ESPN's done a really good job with their bowl games lately because they're doing it with way more than just the two that I work for. But they're bringing content to people from behind the scenes. So they're giving people multiple days of seeing what these guys are getting to do, and these seniors are getting to do for their last game ever. Possibly for football. So we kind of do more of the working behind the scenes. We send a lot of the footage to ESPN, but I don't get to work with ESPN, or I don't get to work with like the broadcast crew, or I'm never on television unless I'm in the background of some shot. But the ESPN people are awesome. I have had some friends go through their PA program, and just having ESPN on your resume in general is really good.
So obviously, with this pandemic going on, me and my friends just want baseball back, and hopefully soon. But what are your thoughts on, like, do you think if they have a season, do you think it'll be like, for me, I say between 80 to 100 games. What do you think?
I think what they're going to end up doing, from talking to multiple people that work in baseball as agents, as players, as well as from some front office staff that I know, I think they're trying to do it to where they can get as many games in as possible. We've been told multiple times, and it's been made very clear that these guys need to they're not going to be able to just go straight into playing. That's why you have spring training, so that you get these guys into an everyday habit, an everyday ritual, an everyday routine of getting ready for baseball and playing baseball. Because if you go straight into it after they've not done anything, you're going to see a lot more UCL tears. Right. You're going to see a lot of players that with hamstring pulls and that kind of stuff that you wouldn't normally see because you've worked your way up to it. I think every professional sport and every professional athlete in general knows you have to work your way up. You can't just go out one day and you're in game shape. That's not how it works. Mm-hmm. You've got to be able to track the ball and see the ball and those kinds of things. I'll get off my pedestal on that one. But I think we know that there's going to have to be a spring training 2.0. And two, these guys want to play. It's not that they don't want to play, and that it's that, how are we going to make it the safest possible? I think they pick up in July, hopefully, fingers crossed, and we just pick up from the season and start it there so we get 80 games. Mm-hmm. I was talking to one of my friends about that earlier this morning, actually, and that kind of is the way that they're leaning at right now. But I think it was a survey done by ESPN. It was like 3,000 people were all given a survey. And in the survey, almost every single person said they don't care if they're fans in the stands as long as they can watch baseball or watch a sport. So, which honestly though, NASCAR is coming back. So if y'all want to watch anything, watch NASCAR.
Actually, obviously the Korean baseball started on ESPN, and obviously they're playing without fans. And do you see that? Did you see Emily? Huh? Did
you see that? Did you see Swole Daddy?
No, Swole Daddy? No, who is?
Yeah, he's a mascot. His name is Swole Daddy.
On the Korean team?
Yes.
Oh, no, I didn't see that.
I cannot tell you what team it is, but I saw that the other day, and I was like, that is my new favorite mascot, period.
Yeah, so no, but so do you see that MLB doing that too at some point with no fans and these players or the coaches are wearing masks?
I think so, just because I think that the players want to get back to playing, coaches want to get back to coaching, and fans need something. Sports in general are such a great medium. We take for granted how much time we take to watch sports and how much we use them as a getaway. So I think the fact that there's no sports in general kind of is what's making this pandemic a much more tough time than it might have been if we left them. I understand why we got rid of them for now. That makes complete and total sense. But I think if you were to bring something back, it would be a good thing to bring back, just because people use them as a getaway. They use them as, time to not watch the news, not watch other things. And so right now, the only things that are on are things that they've already seen, or it's the news, and they're watching the news, and that's why people are going insane. So I think that bringing sports back and, taking on the model of, okay, we're not going to have fans. We're going to play this. We're going to be safe. I think one of the models that they brought up was really interesting, though, for baseball, at least. Baseball is kind of my niche, so I'm going to stick to what I know. They were talking about how they'd have the players all sitting in the stands 6 feet apart. The players hated that idea from the ones I spoke to. So I think it's just one of those things. It's can we give the country some sort of normalcy again, because they're not all going to watch NASCAR, unfortunately. I love NASCAR. I come from a racing family. We have a NASCAR show at the company I work for. So for us, we're excited because, hey, NASCAR's coming back. That's great for us. But I don't think the world's going to go take on NASCAR just yet. I think people watch it because they're bored. But I think bringing back the big three sports, even if you were to bring back soccer, I think people would be excited to see it. I can't wait to see what the numbers are, though, for when games are televised, and then also when you're able to go back to a game. I'm curious if more stadiums like a Tampa Bay or a Oakland or something like that sell out a lot quicker than beforehand when they were barely filling the stadium.
That's interesting. So what was your, let me ask you this, what was your most memorable game you covered as a reporter?
So as a reporter, my most memorable game I covered, probably my first ever Armed Forces Bowl. It was amazing to get to be on the field, to see how everything was going. So it was Army against La Tech, I think. Or no, it was Army against somebody. I can't. Louisiana, La Tech, Louisiana State. La Tech, not Louisiana State, La Tech. So, anyways, Army won, and Coach Munchkin is amazing. Not Munchkin, Munkin is absolutely fantastic. He's emotional. They had one of the worst years in school history the year before that, and it was just a complete turnaround. They went and won a bowl game, and not only that, they won the bowl for the Brave. And so that was a really cool thing to cover. I got to meet a lot of really great people too. People who are wounded warriors and have such great aspects on life, and their mindset is different when they've gone through things like that. So that's probably one of my most memorable games I've ever covered. My first game ever interning, though, was a playoff game for the Rangers. Hi, Matthew. I've been talking about you, Matt, all day. Matt is my agent friend. Anywho, so one of my first games I ever got to cover as an intern was a playoff game for the Rangers, and it was in the 2011 season. Right. Yeah. 2011. When I think they went back to the World Series that year, but anyways, the entire stadium shook. I was down in the camera well, and Mike Napoli was up to bat, and the entire stadium was saying Napoli. And I just was like, holy crap, this is amazing. Like, this is going to be my future. Granted, it's not exactly my future, but it was just a really cool experience to get to. I'm not a huge, I don't have a team that I'm like, oh my God, I'm a diehard fan of this team. But for me to get to experience that and see that, that's something that's been burned into my mind ever since then. And it'd be really cool to see the Rangers win a World Series once. That'd be nice.
I mean, the Rangers had their chances. I think they went to the World Series.
2010, 2011.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
They're a good obviously they're a good young up and coming team, but I'm a Yankee fan, so I'm a big Yankees fan, and so I want to ask you this question. So,
okay,
I had the opportunity to interview Rachel Bolkovich, the first female hitting coach that the Yankees hired to be in the minor leagues. So she came on my podcast. I think it was 2 weeks ago. So she came on. It was an honor interviewing her. She's an inspiring story. So I want to get your take. How these and also Alyssa, the Giants, who the Giants hired as a coach. So how has this involved for women, where they're getting a lot of opportunities now on coaching male sports, and how has it evolved over the years?
It started. First off, I'm going to say this. It started a long time ago when women were first allowed into sports in television. It's one of those things, I was looking at something that was the pioneer of women in sports TV. I think, though, that now that you're seeing that women aren't just, this is an interesting topic, actually. I'm very opinionated about it. I think that, we've started realizing as a society that women they're not just a figure that needs to stay at home, take care of the kids, cook, clean, and be there for when their husband gets home. So I think that we're starting to realize that, the country is starting to realize more and more that women are valuable, and they have value, and they might not have, my biggest thing, and the thing that frustrates me more than anything, is when I get a comment on something that says, you don't know what you're talking about, you never played the sport. I want to be like, you know what? I might not have played football, but I am more qualified than you to discuss what's going on. And I just think that it's awesome, because you're getting it's like the first time you see somebody that's getting to make their dream happen, and you sit there and you think to yourself, holy crap, that could be me one day. That's my dream. I can go and make that. I can go and do that. I can be that person. So the fact that women are starting to, really be accepted, not just allowed, because I think at one point it was just allowed. Now it's accepted. And I think that's the big thing, is that you're not seeing people with a lot of pushback on it. When Jessica Mendoza first was allowed into the booth, everyone was giving so much kickback about how she wasn't qualified. How is Jessica Mendoza not qualified?
I know. It's
she played U.S. softball, for God's sake.
Yep.
That's the highest level any woman can get at in her sport. And it's not like there's a softball league that's on ESPN on Sundays. So why are you trampling on her dream? She brings a little bit different aspect. And do I think she should speak on every single thing that like men and women's sports are different, obviously, but not that much different.
No,
and for those two women getting that opportunity, I mean, what about the female coach for the 49ers? Like,
Katie Sowers,
opportunity to really kill it and make her dreams a reality. And it's making that next generation of girls, it's showing them, I can do this too. Like, I don't have to limit myself in what I want to do. And I think that's the biggest part of it, is that you're now for this next generation of little girls, they're getting the opportunity to really say, you know what, there are no limits. She can do it, I can. And I think that's the biggest thing with it all. And I think it's awesome. I think it brings a whole different aspect and a whole different mentality. And they're not just the stretching coach or the athletic trainer. Did you read the story about the athletic trainer who had to change her name to a non-feminine name to be able to get an opportunity? And she's almost the head trainer. She's like right under the head trainer in an for one of the MLB teams. So it's just one of those things. Like, I know the reason as to why there's a lot of pushback, because women are still seen as really sexual objects, and they don't want the hassle of mixing genders and all that kind of stuff. And I understand that, but I get excited when I see that those barriers are being broken, and every single day, somebody's getting an opportunity that 20, even 15, 10 years ago, they weren't getting.
Yeah, so I even told Rachel that you'll be in the majors as a hitting coach sooner than later. She works hard. She's passionate about her thing, and I even told her that she's going to be in the majors sooner than later. So I'm loving what we're seeing right now with the women's and stuff, and it's just inspiring to see you and all these women getting their opportunities now. So it's just awesome. So
and it's exciting.
My next question is, do you see? Who was your favorite? Okay, who did you interview, and who was your favorite player that you interviewed?
So somebody actually asked me this the other day, and I've done so many interviews that sometimes I really don't remember who all I've interviewed in the past.
Yeah.
But my first interview ever was probably my most memorable interview. Gary Patterson, the head coach of TCU, Riff Rambazoo. I did not know how to ask a question for some reason, and the camera came on and I couldn't speak. And Gary carried my whole interview. He made me not feel like a complete and total idiot, and made me not want to give up. So that was probably my most memorable one. And then I had an interview with Nesta. For those not in the soccer community, Nesta is one of the biggest international players to ever play. He used to coach for Miami FC, and I worked in Jacksonville at the time. So I got to do an interview with Nesta, and that was one for the resume. I've done some cool interviews with people who aren't in sports. His name's David. He won the Great American Patriot Award, and he's a Medal of Honor winner. I cannot remember his last name for the life of me right this second. I got to do an interview with him over during Christmas, like over the break, at the Armed Forces Bowl, and that was really cool. I did an interview just recently with Adrian Peterson. That was awesome. Oh, wow. I got to meet Ken Houston, and though Ken Houston is way before my time, I'm probably in love with Ken Houston. I think he's awesome. He's such a cool man. So he played in the NFL. Houston. So he, after he got done with his playing career, tell David Bellavia, thank you. After he got done playing, he just went and started helping the youth of Houston. So that was a really cool interview, and to listen to just what he had gone through and how, he never thought that a kid from a small town in Texas was going to make it to the NFL, but he just happened to. That was really cool. And then Walt Garrison was another one. He was pretty, when he got in the Texas Sports Hall of Fame, I got to interview him, and he whittles wood. So he was sitting there just whittling wood the whole time. He was pretty cool.
Wow.
But those are some of the big ones. I've gotten to talk to a bunch of different people over the years. I've actually made some really good friends through doing interviews with them, which has been super fun. But yeah, that's my little spiel on my background with my interviews. There's probably way more, and I've done some ones that people think are way cooler, but those are the ones that stick out most in my mind.
All right. So before I let you go, I have a rapid fire questions for you and 2 takes.
Oh gosh. Okay.
All right. Kawhi Leonard's laugh or Kevin Hart's laugh?
Kevin Hart's laugh, because he's a midget and it's hilarious.
Have you heard of
Kevin Hart?
Do you see Kawhi's laugh?
Yes, I have seen Kawhi's laugh. He's got a very interesting one. Do you think it's needed to go to college to be a big-time sports journalist? I know people that haven't gone to college and have made it in the business. I think that going to college helps. I don't think you need to go to grad school, though. A lot of people keep going to school, and it just racks up more debt. You're going to get more experience, actually going and getting real life experience. I know a lot of people won't hire unless you have a degree, but if you work your butt off and you get the reps and you're doing it, and you're good at what you do, I don't think people can deny giving you the opportunity. Big time sports journalists, I mean, it depends on who you consider big time, because 90% of the people who are analysts, at least, might not have gone to college. All those baseball players, I know for a fact, none of them did. So to be a big time sports journalist, I don't know. I think it just depends on your talent and how bad you want it and how bad you're going to work and how much you're going to work for it. Okay, back to rapid fire. Sorry, I saw that on there.
No, it's okay. Yeah, that's fine. Favorite food?
Favorite food, steak all day, or cereal.
Oh my God.
I really like cereal.
You know what's funny? You're the third guest I had on today that said steak.
Oh yeah, I bought steaks over the weekend for my family, and we ate them on Sunday. They were so good. Plus,
I guess.
Texas. I mean, how can I not say steak or barbecue? Yeah. And I lived in Kansas City. The barbecue there is okay. The barbecue in Texas is better, but barbecue, that's my number 2.
Yeah.
Steak and then barbecue.
Huh.
I think all of my favorite foods are mostly meats.
I think today's a steak day on my show. Third.
Go.
But
you're gonna send me a steak next?
I'll send you a steak. What's your address?
No, I'm not gonna give it to everyone.
No, I'm just joking.
I figured.
Huh?
I said I figured.
Favorite thing to do outside your work?
I don't really do a lot outside of work. I work a ton. But I like to work out. I go to Orange Theory. Mm-hmm. That's one of my favorite things. I like to go to baseball live, though I do not like going on dates to sporting events. That is like one of my biggest pet peeves. What else do I like to do? I like to go dancing. I dance. And not like this like twerking, booty shaking kind of stuff. I don't do that. I 2-step and half-step and do ballroom dancing, and I love it. I haven't gone in a long time, but I love it. Are you
a club kind of lady?
No, I am a stay-at-home with my dog Waffles kind of person.
No clubs, huh?
No, not really. My friends have to. There was a point in my early 20s I would have gone out. I went out a lot, actually. I lived in Kansas City, too. So my early 20s, I lived in Louisiana, and then I lived in Kansas City, and then I lived in Florida. So 3 very young professional places to live, and they like to go out and party. So I got my partying out, and I grew up in DFW. So I got my partying out real early. Now I live in this small town that's like the number 2 retirement community in Texas. And I like hang out and go to the lake and take the boat out and that kind of stuff. But definitely not a party girl. My friends have to drag me out and give me like 2 weeks notice.
Oh, man. Favorite hip hop artist currently and old school?
Favorite hip hop artist? Okay, so my favorite hip hop artist might be a producer. I really like Esther Dean. I don't know if y'all consider her hip hop, but she's a producer, and I watch Songland, and she's amazing. Like the way that she just like manipulates music is phenomenal. So probably Esther Dean, because I'm not really like that. I don't listen to a ton of music. I know that's weird, but I really don't listen to a ton of music. I'm more of a TV person than anything. But an old school, probably, I guess, would you consider Boyz II Men hip hop? I really like Boyz II Men. Does that count?
I don't know who that is.
You know who Boyz II Men is? Wow. You asked me a music question, you don't know Boyz II Men.
No,
okay. I'll send you some of their music later.
All right. Oh, sorry. Old school is...
You're young.
I'm 24, so...
You're young.
But for me, old school is Tupac, Biggie, and then Curly's Drake, J. Cole, Tory Lanez, Kendrick Lamar. So.
Okay. Yeah, I don't listen to any of their music. I listen to a little bit of Post Malone, though.
Oh, really? Oh, I love Post Malone.
It's not hip-hop, but I love Bozzy.
Who? Bozzy?
I've got like an obsession with Bozzy all of a sudden. I don't know why, but I really don't listen to a ton of music. I love TV shows though. Like,
okay.
I.
So speaking of TV shows, what's your favorite TV show and what's your favorite sports movie?
My favorite sports movie, by far, Remember the Titans.
Okay.
Like, hard none, hands down. Remember the Titans. It's not Friday Night Lights, and there's no Dylan, Texas, guys. I'm gonna break everyone's heart right now. There's no Dylan, Texas. There's no Panther Lion. There's no Panthers. And that movie was shot in Austin. For all of y'all to know, I'm gonna break everyone's heart right now. I know it's based on Odessa Permian, but they changed it in the TV show. And everywhere I go, somebody's like, "Oh, what's the line from Friday Night Lights?"
I don't know.
Somebody, please comment on what the line is, because I get that all the time. Or, hey, do you know Eric Taylor? And I'm like, no, I've never even watched the TV show. Thanks, guys.
I mean,
Remember the Titans is probably my favorite sports movie. I love that it. I like movies that I like movies and TV shows that shed light on controversy, and I love that it talks about segregation and how it brought together two different communities in a town, and really was one of like the first teams to break a barrier and that kind of stuff. I mean, we were talking about breaking barriers earlier. I actually met somebody who's from that town and was like, right after that team started, they were like the next wave of athletes. I don't remember if it was a coach or who it was, but I met somebody not too long ago that had something to do with Remember the Titans. My favorite TV show, I love Criminal Minds. I have a thing. I love watching serial killer television because I just think their minds are so interesting. I should have probably gone into like forensic science or something like that, because I love the way. I don't love the way they think. I think they're all sick, of course, but I like thinking about how they think and how you catch them and that kind of stuff. Like Mindhunter on Netflix is amazing. But yeah, some of my favorite Criminal Minds. I still watch a lot of kids movies too. So anything Disney makes me happy. But yeah, I have a very eclectic television choice.
So the last two things here, I've been asking this question to all my guests that come on the show about the late Kobe Bryant and what he meant to everyone. So for you as a reporter and analyst, what did Kobe mean to you, his daughter Gianna, and what does Mamba mentality mean to you?
So to be honest, as a reporter, I don't really think that Kobe Bryant affected me much, but as a athlete growing up, so for me, I come from a family of athletes. My dad played college football, could have gone pro. My brother played college football. I played college soccer. My uncle played college football. All of my friends were destined to go D1 somewhere or other for soccer. So for me, Kobe Bryant really affected me as in the never give up mentality. My dad used to tell me all the time, yeah, you could be the greatest player in the world, but if you don't put in the work, you're not going to succeed like you want to. So for me, the Mamba mentality meant a lot because it was, I mean, I drove to Dallas. I lived in a little town outside of DFW, Texas. Drove 2 hours every single day to Dallas, play or practiced for 5 hours a day, and then drove home and did it all again and went to school in the morning. And knowing, and my dad's actually read a book based on Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan, the Michael Jordan book. Both were fantastic books, first off, but second, they really shined a light on, the amount of work that Kobe put in to be great at his craft. So it just, like, for me, it just goes to show that you have to be a different animal to go from being good at what you do to being great at what you do. And I appreciated Kobe Bryant for that. Not only that, but he was a huge humanitarian on top of it. If you play professional sports and you ever want a role model for someone of who to model your life after, Ryan is definitely the person to do it. Once you retire, the things that he did, I mean, he created the Mamba. He's got a Mamba.
The basketball camp thing.
Yeah, he's got the basketball camp. He's got a gym that a bunch of professional athletes actually work out in their off seasons. He did absolutely amazing things. Gave back to his community, but more than that, he was he's
won an award for his documentary, I think.
Yeah, the documentary was fantastic. But I think of more of like the humanitarian work that he did and how much he loved his family. To me, that kind of legacy that you leave of, you were great at your sport and you're great at your craft. But if somebody can tell you, say like, okay, you were the best at what you did, but you were also the best person, the best dad, the best role model you could be off the court, that's a legacy to me more than anything. And I think that's kind of what Kobe meant and how Kobe had an effect on my life, at least. I'm growing up as an athlete, he was the person. I didn't know any basketball players. I didn't really like basketball, but I knew who Kobe Bryant was, obviously. Mm-hmm. My dad talked to me about Kobe. Like, that was one of the things that growing up, like, I knew who that was. I probably couldn't have even told you played for the Lakers. I didn't know that much, but I knew who Kobe Bryant was. But I think on the impact he made on me, though, is to show that he could be great, but he could be so much more than just a basketball player. And I think that's the one thing that a lot of people in this industry kind of forget, especially the athletes themselves, is they think of themselves as just the player and not the person that they are off the field too. And it's their identity. And I think when he played, it was his identity, but he realized really quickly that couldn't be his only identity.
So last thing here, would you like to say anything to all the frontline people?
Oh, yeah, everyone, thank you for everything that you do. We appreciate you, not just during a pandemic, but every single day. I've got a bunch of friends who are nurses and I got friends who are firefighters. And so thank you guys for all that you do. Thank you to my brother. He's a volunteer firefighter. My best friend, Taylor, she's a nurse. Thank y'all for everything that you do. I know that y'all have had some very scary past few weeks, not really knowing what's going on, knowing how this pandemic's going to affect anybody. But thank you for getting up every single morning or whenever your morning starts, if it's 3 p.m. or 3 a.m. Thank you for getting up and going in and every single day helping the community the best of your ability. And that everyone I know appreciates you for all that you've done. Y'all are the real heroes and the real people that everyone should be looking up to.
Yeah, well said. And whoever's in the chat or whoever just joined, please, my cousin and my brother, we started a GoFundMe page, and it's on my bio. It's in my bio. The link is in my bio on Instagram for all the frontline people and for all the